Got this Cadillac in the garage, just got dropped off. And let me show you what's going on with this thing, okay? So it's got a few different complaints. Number one, check engine light is on. It has a misfire, and I'll show you guys that just in a second. Second complaint is apparently the trunk doesn't open from the button right here. I don't hear any actuation going on back there. Third complaint, turn the engine off. See this glass is down? This glass was not down when I turned the engine on. So apparently every time you turn off the engine, the rear glass goes down. There's another customer complaint. She's saying the headlights are acting funny. She took it to that same shop that's been doing all the work. The headlights were actually filled with water. So they put brand new headlights in, right? Everything was working fine for like 3 or 4 days, and then the bulbs went out. Okay, so the final thing on the owner's list, the headlights. Headlights were not working. I think she said something like they've already put 2 bulbs in it. So I went ahead and pulled out the headlight assembly because it's what you have to do in order to get access to these light bulbs. And I pulled out the low beam bulb. Guys, we just have a blown out bulb here. Nothing fancy. I got my test light in place of where this normal bulb would plug in. Let's go ahead, turn on the headlights. See my test light turning on? No issues at all. So on the front right side, that low beam still works. Over here, there is no problem here besides a blown out bulb. I got the hazard lights on, you know, as far as like turn signals. You can see on the front left side, we have a turn signal marker on the left side, and we have nothing on the right side. Now, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that this bulb is simply blown out. You can see the rear light on the right side. To me, that looks like it might be flashing a little bit fast, most likely because this bulb is blown out. So I'm going to have to pull out this headlight assembly also so I could get access to that bulb. And tomorrow I'll go to the store. We'll pick up 2 new bulbs, one for the low beam and one for the turn signal. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up for tonight, and tomorrow we'll get the bulbs put in. All right, so I just got back from the zone, auto zone, and we got some bulbs here. The reason why I got so many is because we got different bulbs blown out on different sides. So on the left side, we have the daytime running light is out. On the right side, we have the turn signal that's out. And on the left side, we have the low beam that's out. So let me go ahead and get all of these installed. And here's a pro tip. Don't ever touch a light bulb with your fingers, your bare fingers, okay? Because the oils on your hand transfers over to the bulb, and when it gets really hot, it causes them to fail prematurely, okay? That's the thing. So I talked to the owner last night, and she said the bulbs have been replaced 3 times. She said they typically last, the shortest is 1 week, the longest is 1 month. Maybe the person installing these bulbs at this shop doesn't know you're not supposed to touch the bulbs. I have no idea. But I need a baseline for me to start, so I'm going to put these bulbs in. I'm going to make sure to wear gloves, and the owner is going to keep me posted on how long these bulbs last. So let me go ahead and install them. All right, so I got all the new bulbs installed on the front left side. Let's go ahead, turn on the hazards and the headlights. Hazards are on, and I could already see that the light assembly is blinking. Turn on the headlights and the daytime running lights. We have a low beam, and we have the little light inside of here for the daytime running light. It's hard to see, but I can see it's on. Everything is working just fine, and we already know the high beam works. Not worried about that, but we could double check it. There goes the high beam on the bottom, that's on. Something I noticed that when the car first came in was that on the bottom of the headlights, I saw these little plastic tabs sticking out, and immediately it drew my attention because I know that's not right. The bumper is supposed to be on top of this thing. It was the same thing on the left side over here, but you can see I fixed that when I'm putting everything together. Make sure the bumper goes over it. It's not that hard. This right here just shows me, because like I said, it was like this on both sides. It just shows me that people in a rush, they just don't care, no attention to detail. And it blows my mind. You know, she's paying the shop good money, a lot of money. That I'm like, hold on, you paid $1,800 for this work? I was like, why didn't you contact me? Could have saved you hundreds of dollars. But like I said, I'm not going to get into that again, okay? Because it's frustrating. Anyway, you know, little things like that bother me when you see stuff that a shop did. And it's like, come on. You couldn't spend extra time to do it, right? All right, so on the front right side here, I am seeing a problem. The lady did complain about like should just be driving one night and the right side headlight turns off. She takes it back to the shop, and when they look at it, they say, hey, the light's on, there's nothing wrong. So she's like, what, am I going crazy or what? So I put in a new turn signal bulb, and I wanted to confirm that it was working before I put it back together, but it's not working. As you can see back there, I got the hazards on, and this turn signal is not blinking. The one on the front left side, the one I just did, that one's blinking. And then I noticed that the headlight wasn't on. That headlight's on. So I start wiggling this connector right here, and see that? Let's go ahead and take this off. Oh, and don't do that. Oh, dang it. I did not think about that. That's what I get for only using one hand. Well, I'm trying to record for you guys. What do you expect? So anyway, this wire on the far left side, if you look at the pin inside of here, that does not look good. It looks possible crusties, maybe even the pin has been stretched or expanded, so it doesn't have the proper tension. So I'm gonna see what I can do about this. And I just remembered something. You know when I said in the first video that her headlights were filled with water? The headlights were actually filled with water, so they changed, put brand new headlights in. You see, I did say that. Well, you know that water works its way down because the connector is at the bottom of the housing, and guess what? It gets into the connector. So this is corrosion due to water. So the shop replaced the headlight, but I don't know if they attempted to clean this. I can't tell. But that's what's going on here. So we probably have everything we need here to turn on that turn signal bulb, but the corrosion inside the connector is what's causing issues. So I'm using my IPA diamond tip electrical terminal cleaner. This is what they look like right here. And I'm just coming inside each of the terminal, and you can see as I clean inside here, you can see the corrosion coming out of each one. And what I'm also noticing is all of these are very tight with corrosion, like it's hard to get my tool in there. But this final one right here that turns on the actual low beam headlight, very, very loose. Like there's no tension at all inside of there. So that's why when I wiggle the connector, it would turn the headlight on and off. And due to the corrosion inside of there, you know how I said it was real hard to push my tool in? So you can see the pins are having a difficult time going in. So the pins aren't exactly all straight. You can see some of them are crooked, and over time that's going to damage that connector right there if they keep being forced on. So at the end of the day, this thing really needs a new connector at the end, one that doesn't have corrosion, but we don't have that right now. So I'm going to try to continue to clean this out with my tool. And while I was out, I also picked up some electrical cleaner, as you can see right there. So I'm going to keep using the diamond tip tool to clean out as much corrosion as I can, and then I'll spray everything with some electrical cleaner, and let's see if that makes a difference. But I still have to most likely pull that one pin out of the connector and increase the tension on it so it actually has good pressure on the pin, because the way it fits so loose like that, it doesn't matter how much cleaning you do, because there's just not enough tension for that pin, and it's never going to work properly if you don't address that. So I pulled off the little plastic cap that goes inside of here, and you can see on the far right side, that's the pin for the low beam, and look how that thing is completely destroyed and disintegrated. I'm trying to move it so you guys can see it wiggling back and forth on the right side. So a good chunk of that pin is missing. That's why there is no tension at all. It's just a piece of metal sitting there. And as of right now, I don't know which one of these wires is for the turn signal. Instead of going in the house on all data and looking this type of stuff up, it's probably easier and faster to just grab my test light and figure out which one of these is pulsing with the hazard lights on, and we can figure out which one is the turn signal bulb. All right, so basically none of these wires are sending out the power to turn on the turn signal bulb. So I just went in here, found the turn signal bulb, and I followed the yellow wire into the connector. So it's going to be the second pin off to the right. And I got my test light here, and as you can see, it works. So that second pin off to the on the connector side would be off to the left, so it's going to be that white I mean blue with the white stripe. So that's this one. And you can see it doesn't matter where you touch that pin. Absolutely no signal coming from here, no power. All right. Okay, so we're not getting any power. Man, I am just butterfingers today. So we are not getting any power at that blue and white wire up here. We already tested that. But I want to check the wire down here. So as you can see, I did pierce the wire. Sorry for people who don't like that, but I got no other option here. These things are sealed from the back. I don't want to go poking inside of that and damage the weather packing. Anyways, I will cover up this hole with liquid electrical tape, not an issue. Anyway, grab my test light. Oh my goodness. Hey, we got a turn signal bulb. All right, so nothing crazy is going on here, guys. This is just a corroded connector due to water intrusion. So the ideal way to fix this is to replace the entire connector. You know, but obviously I don't have a connector like this. Oh my god. I'm just done with today, guys. I am done. I can't hold on to anything. Everything keeps falling. So we know what the problem is. Now I just have to come up with a solution to fix this. As you can see, we now have a functioning low beam. You can see that's turned on, and there goes our turn signal bulb. Here goes my repair. This pink wire right here is going to be for low beam, and this like baby blue wire is going to be for the turn signal. I crimped it, sprayed it with CRC to protect it from corrosion, and I even put heat shrink over both of them. So the same exact thing. Yes, I did leave some extra length, not a big issue. And the pins, I ended up going through my collection of like OEM harnesses that I pulled off of cars over the years. This type of stuff, guys, don't throw it out. It's very useful. As you can see, I was over here deep pinning things. Here was a terminal that was on the turn signal bulb. You can see how nasty and corroded this was, and that explains why the power wasn't getting to where it has to go. So the pins, they didn't fit perfectly, but they fit good enough. Let me go ahead and show you guys. I got nothing to hide. You know what? I don't want to drop this again. All right, so the pin on the left side, you can see it right there, is going to be for the turn signal bulb, and the right side is for the low beam. Of course, the pins don't fit perfectly. You can see they do stick out a little bit. That one gets pushed in a bit further, and this one sticks out, but I did check it, and there's plenty of clearance in here. This thing clips in perfectly fine. Keep in mind, guys, this is not a proper, what I would consider a proper fix. This is a jerry rig type of thing. You get what I'm saying? Like, it works, and it's temporary for as long as it works. But it's definitely gonna do the job, and it's definitely better off like this than it was before. So let me go ahead and plug this in and show you guys that it still does clip in with no issues at all. There it goes. Hopefully you guys heard that click. And there goes our turn signal, and our low beam is on. All right, so let me wrap this up, and I'm gonna put everything right back together, and this thing will be all set as far as the headlights. Don't worry, I did not forget about the liquid electrical tape where I pierced the line. You can see it right there, covered up. After I get the headlight assembly in, look what I find in my pocket. That means I gotta pull this back off again. I'm just gonna try to get the fender liner out of the way, and I should be able to get access to the connector and pop this back in. All right, so surprisingly, I was able to get that back in, and I don't know if I mentioned this, but I was able to get the weather packing in on both of those wires that are replaced. You can see each of them have their weather packing back there, so I did not skimp out on that. As you can see, I got the complete front end of this car put back together, and no more little black tabs hanging out from the headlights. All of that is fixed just how it should. Everything in the engine bay is put back together, looking really nice. Let's do one final test of the headlights and the turn signals. So there goes low beams. We'll turn on the hazards, aka turn signals. That looks good. And that looks even better. All right, so I'm really happy with this. I'm sure the customer is going to be happy. So as far as this rear window, I couldn't figure out what was going on with it. I don't know if I mentioned this before, but I also switched the rear switches around because you could plug them in. I mean, they won't fit. Obviously, they're, you know, a different design, but the connector on the back is the same. So I just wanted to try that out because it's an easy thing to test. And the window was still doing the same exact thing. So I do have to go ahead and put this switch back on that side. Anyway, I noticed that without the switch connected or any switch connected, the window simply won't move. So sure, you can't control the window, but it also means the window's not going to go down 50 times a day every time you either turn on your engine or turn off the engine. And frankly, we're going into winter. The last thing you want is for your window to randomly be opening because it's going to get cold in the car. Not only that, you know, things freeze over. So if this thing's frozen over and this motor is constantly trying to pull the glass down when the glass is frozen, yeah, it could end up doing some damage to other components. So you don't want that. So I told the customer, hey, since I can't figure it out, I think our best option is to leave it unplugged at the switch right here. And that way the window just stays up at all times. You can't control it, but it also won't go all witchcraft on you. And she was like, yeah, fine, let's do that. It's better than nothing, right? But then I found a TSB on all data for this exact problem. They're saying that somehow water gets inside of, obviously water does get inside of your door panel. That's normal. It's part of the operation. It's why you would normally find like drain hose down here underneath the door somewhere, probably hidden back. Oh, here they go. Turn on the light for you guys. You see that? That is a drain port because by design, water is going to get into that door. You can't stop it. It's just how it is. So the thing is, water is getting into the door and it's getting on one of the electrical connectors inside of there. So let's go ahead, pull this off and see if that TSB is correct and if we find corrosion inside of one of the electrical connectors. I got the door panel off, as you can see, and I guess this is the connector they were talking about because it's the only one. It actually sits right here, but I kind of unlatched it and brought it down here so I could get access to the back of the wires and see if I see anything that looks funky. But guys, I'm not seeing it. Everything inside of here looks super clean. I did a tug test on each of the wires. Nothing's breaking. No corrosion on this side. I checked the pin fitment tension and everything feels about the same on all of the pins. And on the door panel side, none of the pins on this look bent. No corrosion. I even unbolted this thing, checked the back side of where the wire is going. Again, everything looks nice and clean. So yep, I don't know guys, I'm not seeing anything here. Nothing what like the TSB was talking about, corrosion. I guess this car does not have that issue. It's just a different issue going on, and this is where I throw in the towel. I got a lot of hours invested in this car, and you know, I fixed what I could, and the owner is just gonna have to live with that window unplugged so it doesn't constantly roll down. There's nothing wrong with telling people you can't fix it. Simple as that, guys. I'd rather tell someone I can't fix it and send them on their way rather than, oh, I think it's this. Now I think it's this. Now I think it's a module. Now I think it's this. You get what I'm saying? Some people get ridiculous and cost customers thousands of dollars just shooting the parts cannon at cars. And I'm not like that. If I don't know the problem, I'm not going to tell you to go ahead and change parts because you just go down this rabbit hole of wasting money and the customer won't be happy. So I have no problem telling her this is one problem I couldn't figure out. If you want, take it to the dealer. Maybe they know what's going on here. I don't know. So let me go ahead and put all this stuff back together. And I think that's going to be it for this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed this whole little series that I put together. I thought it was a interesting collage of repairs, and I was glad to bring you guys along. So I hope you enjoyed the video. And like always, thanks for watching.